It's currently 9:43 p.m. and within an hour ago, started work on the third Santa Claus polystyrene drawing. I'm doing this drawing. I plan to use all of these Sharpie markers at one point or another while doing this drawing. I got up for today at around 3:30 p.m. after staying up until 8:30/9 in the morning. Having coffee that Dad made for me around 6 in the morning. After work, he visited his parents, and his mother made these pork chops and potatoes, and she also gave him this salad dressing, for which Dad made this salad. And when Dad got home around 7 p.m., by which point I was pretty much done working on giving myself control of the pupils of Caesar's mom, or Kate. Dad and I spent some time working on cleaning up the spare room. During which we threw some stuff away, including at which point Dad threw away one of my old laptops that technically still worked, but I hadn't booted it on in months, since at one point I had misplaced its charger, and on one corner on the left back of it, a bit of its wiring was left sticking out. I think as a consequence, because when I primarily used that one during college, I would walk from Eagle Hall to the library while it was still open, like this. And while the campus library was right next to Eagle Hall, that's still a pretty significant walk if you do it while leaving your laptop open. This is the current state of the spare room, generally speaking, as a result of today's efforts to clean it. Which included an 8 to 9 p.m. period in which I generally held open doors. Held open the doors so Dad could get out in and out of his apartment unit and the apartment building itself to move stuff like white cardboard wide bins full of comic books or sports cards out of his apartment unit, or so he could get stuff out of the storage room or unit that is complementary with his apartment unit. Throughout that process, there were a few points in which, instead of just holding open doors, I would also help Dad lift and carry what he was either transporting from either the storage unit or his apartment unit to his car, which was the case most of the time, or for one case I held open doors so he could get, I think, an empty cardboard box about this size, only cube shaped, so significantly smaller in a way, from I think his apartment unit to the dumpster that's right next to, right in the area where Dad's apartment unit is. At around 5:30 p.m., I microwaved 2 slices of that crispy chicken and bacon pizza we got at Salvatore's yesterday for a minute. And had it with a glass of milk as a pretty late lunch. And the time prior to that point, after I got up for today, after spending the night working on the 99th Dan Hamming episode, by working on getting control of movement for Kate's or Caesar's mom's pupils. I had a coffee from the pot Dad made in the morning, which by that point was essentially cold brew coffee. Which is also pretty good. I like both fresh coffee and cold brew coffee, but at different times I'm in the mood for different forms, depending on how I feel like, and I like both of those temperatures of coffee. In terms of what I'm doing right now, I not too long ago had a sort of epiphany that because of the new scenes I added for the beginning, where Kyle the Uber driver is putting in a personal CD that Dan Hamming burned, that means that the car is stationary, and thus Dan Hamming and his friends are still at Rick and Morty Family Restaurant. Which is the name of the place I made up for the previous Dan Hamming episode. And as such, I decided that I need to create a new brief scene which depicts the karaoke night at Rick and Morty Family Restaurant continuing, since at this point it's implied that the upcoming 99th episode takes place probably, or picks up probably a minute or a few from the events of the 98th episode at this point. So what I'm doing currently, I'm trying to work on essentially starting the third Santa Claus polystyrene drawing while deciding who I should have the next singer be and what they should sing, essentially. And trying to determine what song to have be sung is what led to me on a bit of a rabbit hole on GoAnimate/Beyond videos, because the GoAnimate video classic Brian Got Fired at the School Dance is what immediately comes to mind when I want to find the Spanish song Ruta 800 by Molo, which is otherwise hard to find, but it's a copyrighted song owned by BMI Broadcast Music Incorporated. So I might want to look for something else. That's more royalty free, but would still realistically be something that would be played and sung during a karaoke night. Throughout the first hours of the day, I was working on the custom face prop for Caesar's mom. But then as I started working on it in the afternoon, the whole time I was doing color corrections, those sort of things. I got the idea that instead of continuing to try to do color corrections using the Lunapic site, basically making color adjustments, either adding or removing red, green, or blue, I decided that I would just make parts of the custom face prop transparent. And just copy and paste a live copy of Caesar's mom. That way it's guaranteed to be the correct color. First did this for her hair. Then I didn't bother with color corrections for the pupils because they were so close that I figured if I did, I would just end up making things worse, essentially. I then did this for her eyelids. Though, for each item, before I did that, I made attempts at color correction. Although it did come with a drawback. Because of me doing that, I had to, when I removed the hair, I had to shrink down the white circle prop, and when I removed the upper eyelids off of the face custom prop for Caesar's mom to let a live copy stand in place, I then had to replace the white circle prop with a white rectangle and shrink it down further so that it wouldn't appear in front of the live copy. And then finally, in order for the custom face prop to look no different from the reference seen right before it, which I deleted upon completing the custom face prop, I went into Lunapic and edited the custom face prop using technically the eraser tool. I used the eraser tool within it a little bit, and then also the paint tool a little bit, in order to kind of make the chin look the same between those two scenes.